What if I told you the biggest AI companies are using the same financial scheme that brought down Enron? Today, we're exposing a massive financial scheme that involves Nvidia, OpenAI, and the Trump administration that would make the 2008 great financial crisis look like child's play. Welcome back to StockScope Live. We're going to cut through the market manipulation to bring you the truth. I'm your host, Ali, and today we need to talk about something that's been flying way under the radar, but it's actually huge. We're looking at what looks like to be the largest revenue round-tripping scheme in corporate history. If you don't know what that means, we're going to get into the details on that. This involves companies worth over $4 trillion combined. And here's the kicker. It has direct U.S. government involvement, and it has their blessing. Now, I'm not typically someone who dives deep into individual company financials. But when I started connecting the dots, the pattern became impossible to ignore. What we're seeing isn't innovation. It's financial manipulation on a level that makes the 2020 crypto scammers jealous. Okay, let's start with the bombshell. Nvidia just announced they're investing $100 billion in OpenAI. Now, on the surface, this sounds normal investment deal, but here's where it gets suspicious. OpenAI's primary expense is Nvidia GPUs. So essentially, Nvidia is giving them $100 billion, which then OpenAI will turn around and buy products from Nvidia. This is textbook revenue round tripping. I give you money, you buy my stuff, and then I pump my stock. In this case, the $100 billion that will be spent back through Nvidia will pump their stock by at least $500 billion or more, depending on the trading multiple. Now, this is exactly what happened to companies like Enron. They used energy contracts to create circular transactions, artificially inflating revenue without creating any real economic value. Global Crossing did the same thing with telecom capacity swaps, booking billions in fake sales. Now, here's the really insidious part. OpenAI can now go to other investors and say, look, Nvidia just valued us at $1 trillion, even though that valuation is completely artificial. They use this inflation valuation to raise money from pension funds and retail investors who have no idea they're buying into a house of cards. It actually gets worse. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening with direct government involvement and blessing. Both Jensen, Huang, and Sam Altman joined Trump on his UK state visit. Think about that for a second. Why are two CEOs of companies that are private traveling with the President of the United States on a state visit? This isn't capitalism. It's what some people call crony capitalism at its worst. And speaking of government involvement, let's talk about Intel. The U.S. government just took a 10% stake in Intel. And wouldn't you know it, the very next week, Nvidia announces a $5 billion investment in Intel. Coincidence? I don't think so. This is straight up pay-to-play politics. Nvidia pays the government 15% of their China revenue. That's $3 billion a year for the privilege of selling chips there. Meanwhile, their competitors like Intel face public criticism from Trump until they comply. The Trump administration just announced a $100,000 fee for H-1B visas. Now, do you think Google, Facebook, Nvidia care about paying $100K for a top engineer? Obviously, they don't. That's like chump change for them. But startups that are trying to compete with them, that fee is going to bankrupt them. This is how monopolies are created in the 21st century. You don't need to buy out competitors. You just make it impossible for them to compete by leveraging government regulations. Now, let's connect the dots. Nvidia investing in OpenAI, which buys Nvidia chips. Oracle taking $300 billion from OpenAI over 5 years, while also being a partner in the Stargate AI project. The government taking stakes in companies while those same companies get preferential treatment, and visas fees designed to eliminate startup competition. This isn't just one company doing shady accounting. This is systematic market manipulation designed to concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few connected players. And here's what really concerns me. We've seen this playbook before. First, it was junior gold miners in the 80s and 90s doing circular investments. Then crypto companies took the same model and supercharged it with technology. Now the tech giants are taking the crypto playbook and scaling it to trillions of dollars, all with government backing. The scary part, Wall Street analysts are just questioning whether big tech AI revenue growth is real or just round tripping. When Amazon invests in Anthropic and Anthropic immediately becomes a major AWS customer, is that real growth or financial engineering? Now, on the other hand, Microsoft disclosed they don't recognize revenue from OpenAI training models on Azure. That's telling. It suggests that companies might be recognizing revenue from these circular arrangements. So what does this mean for you as an investor? First, be extremely skeptical of AI company valuations right now. When you see massive revenue growth, ask yourself, is this real customer demand, or is this just companies investing in each other and calling it revenue? Second, watch for these 4 flags. These are the 4 flags of round tripping. Unusually consistent revenue growth that doesn't match industry patterns, large transactions with the same counterparties, revenue spikes at the end of reporting periods, and companies maintaining high inventory levels to support artificial demand. Third, remember that this isn't something that can last forever. Just like things before it, the dot-com bubble, the housing bubble, every other financial engineering scheme that we've ever seen, eventually reality will catch up to you. And when it does, companies built on real value will survive, while other companies who are built on schemes are going to crash and burn. The problem is timing the bubble. These schemes can go on longer than you might expect, especially with government backing. But history has shown us that bigger bubbles have more spectacular crashes. Look, I know this might feel heavy on your shoulders, but as investors, we have a responsibility to see through the marketing and understand what really is happening in our markets. This isn't about being anti-innovation or anti-AI. It's about distinguishing between real innovation that creates value and financial engineering that just moves money around in circles while inflating asset prices. If you found this analysis helpful, smash the like button and subscribe for more unfiltered market truths. And drop a comment below. Are you seeing other examples of this kind of corporate government scheming that concerns you? Maybe we can cover it. Remember, in free market capitalism, companies succeed by creating value for customers, not by gaming the system with political connections. What we're seeing today isn't capitalism. It's corporatism, and it's a dangerous path for our economy. Stay vigilant, stay informed, stay diversified, and I'll catch you in the next video.